This segment is brought to you by Domain Northside. Welcome to Black Fashion History. I'm your host, Michelle Washington. Joining me today is celebrity fashion designer Sergio Hudson. Sergio is famous for his luxury designs and most recently, his fashionable participation in the inauguration. Sergio,
Hi.
welcome.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, King. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Sergio, you are Black fashion history. You know that, right?
I guess I do now.
Well, tell us more about that moment at the inauguration when you saw both Vice President Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama in your designs.
Well, I'll speak to the vice president first. It's still like amazing that I can say that and know that it's a black woman. But I'll speak to that first. Dressing her was more. When you're in this business, it's all about who's the next person you're going to dress that's going to catapult your business. What next thing is going to make you be, you know, the next big designer. But really, when I went into doing the outfit for the vice president, it was more thinking about, wow, I have two black daughters, um, one black stepdaughter, tons of godchildren, tons of nieces, and my mother, my sister. I just thought about every black woman that I was connected to and how this moment is a change for them, not just for them, but for us. And it was more than a moment for my business. It was more than a moment for me to shine as a designer. So I didn't even go in thinking about it like that. And it's an emotional thing even to still talk about now, to know that the second most powerful person in the world is a black woman. Like, that's crazy. It's not crazy. It should be, but it's crazy that it's actually happened. And I've dedicated my life to women and to black women, and that's what I do for a living, is worship women. So it is, an honor to be able to say, be in the number of, to say that I had some small thing to do with inauguration day on that historic day, for sure. With Michelle, Mrs. Obama, it was, me and her stylist Meredith Coop have a great relationship. So it was, to be honest, just like a Tuesday dressing Mrs. Obama. It's what we do. And she wore a quintessential Sergio Hudson look. Like, it was just something that I would roll out of bed and design on a Tuesday. Like, it was just, we vibe really well together, so it's easy.
What you do is effortless beauty and style for women. And believe me, I was delighted and overwhelmed and felt all the feels that you're talking about, seeing your work, knowing what you do, and seeing those two beautiful women make history with your clothes.
Yeah, it was a moment for sure. I'll never forget the moment.
Well, Sergio, I know that you have a gorgeous spring collection, the bold colors, the euphoric design style. Tell me more about that.
Well, the spring collection we did was a small capsule collection that I released. Just because the business is so hard right now, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, what are my clients wearing right now? What are they wanting to look like? And so we designed a collection. I kind of took inspiration from two characters. One being Amanda from Melrose Place, Heather Locklear's character, and the other being Jacqueline from Boomerang, Robin Givens' character, because I always admired these characters because they were just so powerful, and they, in business and in life, and they had control of their sexual identity, and they kind of treated men like how men are supposed to treat women, and they just were bosses. And I feel like that's my clientele. So I was like, what would these two women wear if they were here today and in the prime of their moment? And that's where that collection came from. Like, what would Amanda and Jacqueline be wearing at home, running their Zoom meetings, running their Fortune 500 companies from from their living rooms? So that's where the whole collection and the idea came from. What would they be wearing?
Also, I noticed that you are doing a home collection, just beautiful, gorgeous. We're having that nice Sergio Hudson luxury feel brought to our homes.
Yes, I mean, I guess this is the thing. I tell people this all the time. I am an American sportswear designer. It's never been anything else for me. So I want to be in your home. I want to be on your back. I want to be on your children's back. I want to be what Ralph Lauren is to American fashion, and even more. Like, I don't want to stop where Ralph stopped. I want to keep going. So it's like, if I branched. During the pandemic, it was hard for me, and I was just like, I want to do something, So I kind of redesigned my whole apartment. So I was like, and through that, I was like, well, what if I just did a home collection? Because I ended up making so many custom pieces for my house, just because I just particular about how I like things. And I realized, why am I waiting for the collection to be? Because normally the traditional way is you wait until your clothing collection is like out there and like huge, and then you put out home pieces. And I was just like, I don't want to wait. I'm gonna do it. So we started with just the pillows, and they've been doing amazing.
Oh, yes. Sergio, speaking of beautiful accessories that you make, I'm having a hard time trying to get a Sergio Hudson belt. Selling out.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting them out. The response has been overwhelming, and it's been so, wonderful that people have connected to something signature to me. And it was totally unexpected. It wasn't a planned thing. Um, so, yes, the belts have sold out, and now we have been taking pre-orders, and it's been amazing. So we're building a legacy. So, get your Sergio Hudson belt now. We don't know.
Well, Sergio, many people have paved the way for the Black fashion history that we're experiencing, that you're a part of. Who was a Black fashion designer that inspired you?
I mean, so many of you have Stephen Burrows, Willie Smith, and Jeffrey Banks. But I personally connected to Patrick Kelly just because he is from the South, or was from the South, and he ascended to the highest heights of fashion. I think there's no African American designer that has ever ascended to those heights. And had he lived, I believe he would have had the first black owned legacy house for sure. I mean, even when he passed away, he was at the top of his success. So definitely Patrick Kelly is a great inspiration for me. But everyone, and I mean Stephen Burrows, of course, it would be no American fashion without him, and I don't think people give him his credit for that for sure.
Well, Sergio, that brings us to our history highlight. We are highlighting Arthur McGee. Now, he was also a celebrity designer during the 1960s and 1980s, and you can see his work in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Sergio, I'd like to thank you for being such a fantastic guest.
Thank you for having me, for being such a fantastic host.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Domain Northside. I'll see you next time for more Black fashion history. And as I like to say, a smile is always in style. Keep it fashionable.